In this lecture, we are going to discuss about rotor EMF and reactance under running condition, torque under running condition, and condition for maximum running torque for three-phase induction motor. So first we'll discuss rotor EMF and reactance under running condition. Okay, so let E2 be the standstill rotor induced EMF per phase, and X2 be the standstill rotor reactance per phase, and F2 is the rotor current frequency at standstill. Okay, so standstill means the rotor is not rotating. So when the rotor is at standstill, the slip is given by 1. Okay, so the formula for slip is ns minus n divided by ns. So n is the actual speed of the motor. So when the motor is at standstill condition, n will be equal to 0. So s is given by ns by n, ns by ns, that will be equal to 1. So in that case, the frequency of the rotor EMF is same as that of the rotor supply frequency. So the value of the rotor induced EMF is maximum at standstill condition. Why? Because the relative speed between the rotor and the stator magnetic field is maximum. So if the relative speed is maximum, the EMF induced will also be at its maximum value. As the rotor starts rotating, the relative speed between the rotor and the stator magnetic field will decrease, and hence the rotor induced EMF also decreases. So let us assume for a slip S, the rotor induced EMF will be S times the induced EMF at standstill. So why? Because already we have derived the formula for frequency of the rotor under running condition. Okay, this is given by Fr is equal to S into F2. So Fr is the frequency of the rotor EMF or rotor current under running condition, and F2 is the frequency of the supply voltage. Okay, Fr is equal to S times F2. So in a similar fashion, we can write ER is equal to S into E2. But ER is the EMF induced in the rotor under running condition, and E2 is the EMF induced at the standstill condition. Okay, so now as the rotor starts rotating, rotor frequency decreases, and hence the rotor reactance will also decrease. Therefore, the rotor reactance XR can be written as XR is equal to S times X2. So here ER and XR are the rotor induced EMF and reactance under running condition. Okay, so now we'll derive the torque under running condition. So the torque is proportional to ER IR cos phi 2. So here ER is the EMF induced in the rotor under running condition, and similarly IR is the current flowing through the rotor under running condition, and phi 2. So phi 2 is the angle between ER and IR. Okay, so here ER is always proportional to the flux. So torque is proportional to phi into IR into cos phi 2. Okay, so ER is proportional to phi. So now we know that ER is equal to S into E2, and similarly we can write IR is equal to ER by ZR. Okay, ZR is the impedance of the rotor under running condition. So now ER can be replaced with S into E2, and ZR can be written as under root of R2 square plus SX2 whole square. So here R2 is the rotor resistance. Okay. So let us consider the impedance triangle under running condition. So this is a rotor resistance. So this is the rotor reactance under running condition. Okay, XR, that is given by S into X2. So this is the impedance of the rotor under running condition. So now from this triangle we can write cos phi 2. So cos phi 2 can be written as R2 divided by, so this is the adjacent side R2 divided by hypotenuse ZR. ZR is equal to under root of R2 square plus SX2 whole square. Okay, in the next step we are going to substitute the value of IR and cos phi 2 in the torque equation. Okay, so now the torque is given by proportional to phi into, so in place of IR we are going to substitute S into E2 divided by under root of R2 square plus SX2 whole square into cos phi 2 is replaced with this formula R2 divided by under root of R2 square plus SX2 whole square. Okay, so now we are introducing a constant, so is equal to K phi S into E2 into R2 divided by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. Okay, so we already know flux and EMF are proportional to each other. So in this case, flux can be replaced with the EMF induced in the rotor. So in the next step, we are replacing phi 2 with E2. So we can write torque is equal to K1 into S into E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. So now here we are introducing another constant K1. So which is given by 3 divided by 2 pi into ns. So where ns is the synchronous speed in RPS. So now this is the final expression for the torque under running condition. So torque is equal to 3 by 2 pi ns into S into E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. So this K value we will derive in the later sections. Okay. So now if we want the torque at standstill condition, we can substitute S is equal to 1. Okay, at standstill S is equal to 1. So substituting S is equal to 1 here. So we'll get T is equal to 3 by 2 pi ns into E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus X2 square. Okay. So now we'll derive the condition for maximum torque. So the torque of the rotor under running condition, already we know this formula. Okay, T is equal to K1 into S into E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. So this is the formula for the torque of the induction motor, 3-phase induction motor under running condition. So let this be equation number 1. So now the condition for maximum torque is always obtained by differentiating the above expression with respect to slip and then equating it to 0. So now we are going to differentiate this equation with respect to S. Okay. So now let us assume y is equal to 1 by t. Okay. So this is t equation. So 1 by t is reciprocal of this one. So R2 square plus SX2 whole square divided by K1 S E2 square R2. So in the next step we are going to split this into two terms. So the first term is R2 square divided by K1 S E2 square R2 plus second term S square X2 square divided by K1 S into E2 square R2. So if you see here, one R2 term will get cancelled here and similarly here S term will get cancelled. Okay. So remaining terms R2 divided by K1 S into E2 square plus S into X2 square divided by K1 E2 square R2. So this is Y. So now we are going to obtain dy by ds. So we are differentiating these two terms. Okay. So in the first term R2 divided by K1 into E2 square is constant. So differentiating 1 by S we will get minus 1 by S square. Okay. Remaining terms will remain as such. Plus, so here similarly X2 square divided by K1 E2 square R2 will remain constant. So differentiating S with respect to X will be 1. Okay. So these two are equated to 0. So now this can be written as R2 divided by K1 S square into E2 square is equal to X2 square divided by K1 E2 square R2. Okay. So now the K1 and K1 will get cancelled. Similarly E2 square and E2 square will get cancelled. So remaining terms we have R2 by S square here and on the right hand side we have X square divided by R2. So on cross multiplication we can write R2 square is equal to S square into X2 square. So taking roots on both sides we will get R2 is equal to S into X2. So this is the condition for maximum running torque. R2 is equal to S into X2. Okay. So now if you see here S can be written as R2 divided by X2. So S is the slip corresponding to maximum running torque can be written as R2 divided by X2. So now we can substitute the value of S in the torque equation 1. So this will give you the maximum torque. So T is equal to K1 S E2 square R2 divided by R2 square plus SX2 whole square. This is equation number 1. Okay. So here we can substitute the value for slip corresponding to maximum torque so that this torque equation will become the maximum torque equation. So K1 constant. So in place of S we are substituting R2 by X2. Okay. This is a condition. E2 square R2 divided by this will remain the same R2 square plus. So now SX2. So if we cross multiply this SX2 will give you R2. So substituting this R2 here. So R2 square plus R2 square is 2 into R2 square. So this X2 will come down. So in the denominator we have X2 into 2 R2 square. So in the numerator we have R2 into R2 E2 square. So R2 square into E2 square. So this R2 square will get cancelled. Okay. So now we have the torque equation, that is the maximum torque equation under running condition is equal to K1 into E2 square divided by 2x2 Newton meter. Okay, so from this expression, okay, we can say that the maximum torque is independent of the rotor resistance. There is no R2 term in this maximum torque equation. Okay, so torque is independent of the rotor resistance. So however, the speed or slip at which the maximum torque occurs can be adjusted by varying the rotor resistance. Why? Because slip is given by R2 by X2. This is a slip corresponding to maximum torque. So if R2 is varied, slip also varied. So the torque at which the maximum torque, the slip at which the maximum torque also varies. So maximum torque is inversely proportional to the reactance. Okay, rotor reactance.